FM.
Yep, I guess this is it. Traditions. We don't break it. Folks, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. I'll say that again. Folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. My name is Nana Ansakwa, the chief of the Little Republic of Akwemu Edumasa. Welcome to another edition of That's My Opinion. Folks, this is our Monday evening ritual, a ritual for the forward-looking, a ritual for the true at heart, for the enlightened, and most of all, a ritual for the patriots. And it's only on Joy 99.7 frequency modulation. Our topic today, folks, is a very sad one. Be able or check out. Yes, be able or check out. Now, how many of us know that today, 3rd December, is International Day of the Persons with Disability? Well, there you go. Be able or check out. Folks, undoubtedly, Ghana has moved forward as a country. From the days of queuing up for kenke, not even boiled ones, queuing for bread and fuel, from the days of going to a comm center and queuing up only to check out on your email. Folks, the days of booking a foreign call at Circle and, going at a designated time to wait for your call to come through. Once upon a time, you had to know someone before you even pay a bribe to get a SIM card to use in your phone. Oh, yes. If you knew a minister or a big man, you'll, connect you to someone and then you pay 1 million Ghana cedis. And I'm talking 1 million cedis before the CD was in MP3 format. That was a proper million, not this 100 CD business, right? And if you didn't know anyone, it was like 2.5 million just to get a one-touch SIM. Yes, it used to be called One Touch. Thank God it got closed down after all that mismanagement and backward thinking. But maybe that's another show. But gone are those days. Folks, when we could go on the balcony and wave at aeroplanes when our families were flying out, we waved them goodbye. High-rise buildings are springing up all over the city, and compared to many African countries, folks, this is paradise in spite of all our complaints. Many come here to seek greener pastures. Folks, many come here. We sit here and we say China, China, China. Chinese come here to seek greener pastures. And so somehow, folks, that's been the direction we are all pushing. We are all pushing for more GDP rating, inflation targeting, lending rates should come down, more roads, more jobs, expand the economy, and that's where our energy is. Now, in this race for our supposed success and achievement, there's no room for the disabled. Now, I know I'm probably wasting airtime by bringing this issue of disability. Oh yes, I'm probably wasting airtime, but even bringing this issue up when party politics is so juicy right now. Folks, that's the true measure of a nation. That's the true measure of a nation's success. How everyone, regardless, is given the opportunity to play their part in that nation's development. We've become innately selfish. We have become dangerously selfish. Folks, I think babies now are being born selfish. They're not even thought to be selfish. You become so selfish, it's becoming their instinct. In truth, folks, and pardon me, but we have become foolishly selfish. Now, why do I say so? Folks, someone left for work this morning as an able-bodied person and probably by now is disabled. Yet we act as though being disabled is a preserve of the few and that we are free and immune for it. We shall never, ever fall victim. That's how we act. And so we don't prepare or make any provisions until it strikes. Folks, for us in Ghana and maybe in Africa, once a person can self-groom and seem to articulate, you are deemed to be fit and well and able. Things like stress, depression, borderline syndromes, behavioral issues, OCD, doesn't register on our radar. Oh, no. Once you can get up, bath and put your clothes on and probably ask for food if you're hungry, well, you're well and good. That's it. So Once you have no limp and you walk straight, you have sight, you hear, all your limbs are in place, you're all right. So you can imagine how many not so well people are roaming about and taking decisions on our behalf, all because we just don't want to pay attention. And the number of people with mental problems, yet we've shut down on all these because they woke up in the morning and they were able to groom themselves. So far as high-rise buildings are coming up in the city, we are developing. If we are changing governments without fighting, then who cares if there's no pavement for the visually impaired or even people put obstructions in their way? Who cares? If you want a proper paved sidewalk, then leave here. As for us, that's the way we operate. At worst, untumia just famanyame. If you can't cope with it, just give it to God. And that's the rule of the game. If you want to have options of good schools to attend as a person with disability, you know what to do. Now, I can go on and on and on, but in theory, that's what we are saying. Folks, in theory, that's what we are saying. And I've asked this question many times. That are the audience being served what they want? Or are we, the media, giving them what we have cooked? Because in all honesty, the airtime available today and probably for the rest of the week is not for the fact that you can see or hear or walk. Hell no. Go to some church and find a miracle. At the moment, NDC says aspirants should pay $420,000, and that's news. Even if they want 3 days of airtime for that discussion, folks, we will provide it free of charge. But folks, we are enlightened. We have come a long way, and we're still growing. It's bad, but not that bad. Can we truly neglect the disabled, treat them like they committed a crime or there's some sort of a contagious disease and still class ourselves as a developed people? Should we continue to teach our young ones evil ways because they're learning from us? And it's totally evil. I mean, the amount of people who won't go to heaven because of this attitude, and probably will all be affected. One day there'll be Peter or Paul at the gate asking, how did you treat persons with disability? And we'll be standing there with nothing to say. Folks, I told you this before. My older daughter, Nyam's big sister, is deaf. She can hear. Completely deaf in one ear and minute in the other. And in a whole school that she attends, she's the only deaf girl. And so can you imagine, in her class, apart from the teacher, and every class has a teacher and a teaching assistant, there's another teacher who does sign language. They will have to wire the whole class. The teacher wears a particular mic. She has a frequency, that mic's frequency wired to her ear so she can hear the teacher louder than the rest of the class so that the teacher didn't have to shout. And then her sign language teacher standing next to her, repeating what the teacher's saying in sign. So when she moves from class 1 to class 2, they will have to come and disconnect all these frequency things and fix it in class 2 so that, she can go there with her sign language teacher and go along. Just one deaf girl. All the way through till she finished primary school and she's now in secondary school. Folks, this will be totally unheard of here. I mean, it will be like asking for the nude pictures of the president. I mean, are you mad? Did I make your daughter deaf? Can you imagine me going to school and say, look, why the class goes I'm bringing my daughter here? And she's deaf. They'll probably call psychiatric for me and give me help. They'll think I need help. Hire a teacher for her alone? Boy, yeah. Folks, today she's a top-class drummer. I mean, top-class drummer. She's just won the Jack Percy Achievement Award and she's doing fantastic work. She's the only deaf girl, not the only mad or dead girl. All she needs is aid to hear. That's it. So now the children in the class who will grow up and to become decision makers will know that everyone should be included and that different people need different sort of help. Not to tease them or laugh at them or give them names. And here we are. We still have some chiefs today who, in the name of some illiterate tradition in this day and age, discriminate against persons with disability. Yes, 2018, and they are scared of albinism. 2018, they still don't know that science has now told that it's pigmentation. So if Konfuanochi did not know, if Mansa Musa wasn't aware about it, hasn't science taught you what it is? But we are still stuck in the days. Families are ashamed of their little ones who have a form of disability, and so they hide them. So I want to say congratulations to my sister, Eugenia Sintimedi, who, has a disabled daughter. They go everywhere. She needs a bigger wheelchair to go, so what? You put her in a bigger wheelchair and they go everywhere. And so you can see the girl, even though she's struggling, she comes alive. She's not hidden. That's how God created her. What's your business hiding her? And this, since governments are not made out of aliens, folks, but from the same old as families are selfish at, governments do all these touches on these issues for photo opportunity or for, vote gathering events. Otherwise, it's not a main issue. Folks, a few years I was, helping some visually impaired guys, about 26 of them, graduates. They had managed to finish Legon. They had all passed. And they tell you how it is that after classes, they will have to go and look for the Braille material, and it was tough, extra tough for them to go through school. Blind. They finished. And they wanted to teach. My heart was broken. Folks, the boys wanted to teach. They even demonstrated. Folks, they even demonstrated that please post us to anywhere. They don't want to be in Accra. They don't care whether it's a Kropon, whether it's Chebi, whether it's a Dumasa. Just post us so we can teach. That's when the topic comes to play. Be able or check yourself out. Be able or check yourself out. Just 26 graduates. Ghana as a nation could not post them to any classroom. It's so painful. It's like a sin. Folks, if the Bible was being written today, it would be added somewhere in the chapter. It was like a sin. Just 26. Omochimere University. And they are saying they want to teach. They demonstrated. They go and they come and they go and they come. They couldn't get help. They couldn't get help. Just to teach. They don't want to beg. They don't want to be a burden on the state. They just wanted to teach. Yet at the change of power, folks, thousands of nincompos, right, will be pushed to national service and Gapoha and the police and all these quick money-making positions. We will push thousands of people in there. Here were 26 visually impaired who managed to finish university. We couldn't help them. Folks, and if we in the media don't start setting an agenda where real issues, fundamental issues are brought up for discussion, then back to my question. Are we being served what you ordered or what we have cooked? But today, let us spare a moment to encourage the inclusions of persons with disability, no matter what it is. If they are alive, they must include them. If they are alive, we must include them. Folks, even the simple things like disabled access. The simplest of things. Persons living with disability, don't sympathize with me, just understand me. Just I am coming with a wheelchair. Don't feel sorry for me. Give me a ramp so I can go up it. I am coming. I can't see. So just get things out of my way so I don't fall. Don't just stand there, put things in my way and feel sorry for me. It won't help me. Get the obstruction out of the way. That's all they're asking. Let me quickly say that the Standpoint Studio has a disabled ramp. Well done. But not before the Edumasa Palace did. Let that be on record. I'll tell you a little story about the Edumasa ramp, right? There's this old man, one of my wise men that helped me, Opinion Debra. Oh, no, who say cement? I who say cement, you come to do, leave it, die. Nobody in the village here uses a wheelchair. Nobody's ever going to come here with a wheelchair. So don't waste the cement. Use it for something else. I said, you never know. So we did the disabled ramp. Opinion Debra goes into the bush to do something and falls and snaps his hip bone. Nobody in the village has used that ramp than this old man. Nobody in that village has used that disabled ramp that the same old man always comes and goes up the lift. And every time he goes up it, I remind him of the days when he was telling me that I was wasting cement. But like I'm saying, you know, he came up one day, he was fine, and the next minute, he was disabled. So today, that's my topic on the table. Should we continue to live as though we are telling persons with disability to just check out because we don't have time, space, or effort for them? Well, you can tell me. It's 0302-216-541. Maybe it's you, maybe it's your brother, maybe you're just as concerned as I am. That's 0302-216-541. And you can send me on WhatsApp. It's 0244-340-437. And who's going to be my first caller? Hello.
Yeah, Nana, how are you?
I'm very well. Who's my first caller?
Yeah, my name is John from Dansuman.
John, talk to me.
Yeah, a very important topic that you are touching on. But if you look at the disability issues, you clearly see that I think it's deeply rooted in our culture. It's a cultural thing where people who are disabled are seen as a curse. Some families even abandon them. And, you know, so I think that's the genesis. John Mahama appointed a blind person, you know, as a minister. Look at the brouhaha. Look at the uproar. And I was surprised that chiefs would even stand against that. And you're a chief yourself. Now, you go to places, you don't find walkways for people who are disabled. Society frowns on them. Everybody looks down on them. And tomorrow you could also be disabled. You could be struck by a stroke. You could be involved in an accident. So I don't really get it. Elsewhere in the world, as you said, you know, people take this seriously. But over here, it's an NGO business. The government doesn't take charge. The first lady would have to come. Any first lady that comes must put up an NGO. And then, as you said, for the cameras, they go to these places and take pictures instead of it being a policy where people who are disabled are catered for. And some of these people are very intelligent, and God in his wisdom sometimes even hide certain talents in these people. So I think the way forward is for the government to take it upon themselves so that they can help rather than leaving this in the hands of NGOs. Even the talk is Ghana Beyond Aid. So we don't need aid for these things. That means we have to sit up. So which ministry is in charge of this? But I want to ask, do you have a ministry in charge of this?
Well, that's a big question. 0302-216-541. But Ajimai is in Tema. Hello, Ajimai.
Good evening. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well, my brother.
Yeah. And this is a very important topic. And I know in the Bible, somewhere in the Bible, when Jesus Christ was to go and perform at a certain point, and Jesus had turned himself to be a disabled person, he was being held and threw into the boat. There, the person got to know that he is Jesus Christ. And Jesus said that as you did not do for your friend, I will not do for you. And when we lay hands on the orphans and the disabled, we owe God for God to pay us. So even when we are owing each other and we are paying interest, it's a huge. How much more God owing you? I suggest that you should have a fund for disabled so that the taxes that we are paying, part will go to them. If you cannot organize a job for them to do, some of them, you should find some avenue to find some money every month will go to them so that it will take care of themselves. And God will even bless us for that.
Thank you very much. This one says, Nana Funny, you've come up with this topic. I was in traffic by the Ministry of Defense on Friday morning when a crippled man was crawling on the pavement towards the traffic. I was sure to catch up with us to beg, but as usual, the lawless country that we live in, a motorbike driving on the pavement was hooting at the disabled man off the pavement to drive on it. I was so upset, hooted and screamed continuously at the bike rider. I was looked at by other drivers like I had two heads. This is Nana in Spintex. And on the phone is Alfred. Hello, Alfred.
Hello, boss.
Yes, Alfred, talk to me.
Please, I'm a person with visual impairment in one of the renowned universities in Ghana.
Let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah, please, I am very happy for this particular program you put forward. In fact, persons with visual impairment or disability, despite inclusive education, we are still struggling out there. One we should put out as pertaining to job. In my university, for instance, as a person with visual impairment, we pay library charge fees, we pay fees on other utilities, other facilities, but we don't have access to them. When it's time for exam, we'll go and sit down in the examination for 1 hour before they put our paper in accessible format for us. And all these things are seriously discouraging. It doesn't speak well of the inclusive education policy in Ghana at all. So, in fact, hello?
Yes. Let me hear you.
In fact, as a person with visual impairment, I am pleading. I know most of the governmental officials are listening. They should, and especially Ghana Education Service, they should at least do something about it. If not, at the end of the day, we are going to see more visual impaired out there on the road begging, which does not speak well of Ghana that has adopted inclusive education. It's very, very, very appalling. This afternoon, I took an exam. I have to sit for about 1 hour, 30 minutes before our papers were put into accessible format for us to read,
wow,
which is not fair at all. And for security reasons, I would never like to reveal the name of the university. But
no, I think you've said enough, and I think your passion has also been quite clear and articulated. But these are this is the reason why I did the show today. Delight is in Kaswa. Hello, Delight.
Yeah, Nana, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, kudos to you and your team.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I want to believe Dr. Seydou Dana is still an MP.
I'm not quite sure about that. I'll have to check. I don't know.
Hello, Nana.
I said I'm not quite sure. I'll have to check for you.
Yeah, I'm very sure he's still an MP.
Okay.
He's a disabled man, and in that house as an MP, representative of the people. So I think he should be the one fighting for the cause of other disabled people at the time that they are even in opposition now. Whatever happens there is in his name, and I think he should be the one championing this cause for the Disability Act to be fully active in Parliament. I believe he's aided to Parliament by people. And if somebody comes to Parliament to witness whatever is going on there as a disabled person, somebody should be there doing same for him as an ordinary person. That is what I want to believe. Kudos to your team.
Thank you too for calling in. Samuel is in Wale Wale, and let it be known on record that Samuel is my brother from far away. Hello, Samuel.
Hello, Nana.
Yes, my brother.
This is your main man, Samuel.
Yes, sir. Let me hear you.
I want to use this opportunity to thank you for putting this program together. And I want to use this opportunity to salute all my disabled friends in the country, Ghana. I want to salute all disabled parents. In fact, I dedicate this day to our disabled parents. Ghana, it's not easy to take care of a disabled child. So I want to use this opportunity to thank them for the care and love they are giving us. And there are parents today whose marriages are being broken down because the couples gave birth to a disabled child or two. Hello, Nana.
I'm here with you, Samuel.
There are marriages struggling today because the fruit of the womb has, in one way or the other, it's a disabled child. And when the man opens the mouth, you have to install the woman for giving birth to the disabled child, and the vice versa. This is the country we find ourselves. Despite the fact that the country Ghana is not easy for us disabled persons, the society and the family level is even worse. There's so much discrimination. Now you know my history.
Yes.
My educational history, my job history, my marriage history is terrible. But thank God I've gone through all that successfully. Now, it's not easy for a disabled person to even get an able partner in life to marry. If you go in for a partner, hey, competition comes there. You see somebody going to tell the woman that, oh, in this whole town you cannot see somebody is just crippled. We have seen them. And this is the kind of life we are living today. We are living a life of hell. And when you come to, like our colleagues have contributed in terms of education, it's tough for us. And I thank you for making a disability ramp in your palace. Don't destroy it. I am coming live to use it. I'll visit you one day and I will use the ramp.
I look forward to it. Samuel, you make my day if that happens. This one is on WhatsApp. It says, hi, Nana, good presentation on disability. Your presentation encompasses all type of disability. I work as a deaf teacher and a sign language interpreter. I'm also touched with your daughter's progress. I'm writing on deaf persons and I wish to have a story to document for especially the disabled themselves to use for advocacy. Please link me with her if possible. Our leaders only know they exist if they want their vote and or when they need money through the NGOs in their name. Thank you. This is Walter from Nsawam. Thank you very much, Walter. But Ken in Ablekuma will have to forgive me. I've kept you holding for long. Oh my God, Ken, you have to forgive me. You have to forgive me. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Nana.
Good evening. Who am I talking to?
I'm Aseye from Atumota.
Aseye, talk to me.
Nana, what even pisses me off sometimes is that when you go to the malls and then some of the banks don't have parking space for the disabled. I know that when you travel outside Ghana, especially like say in the US or the UK, they have their specified parking lot and they have a tag in the car so that they can be able to park there. But even in Ghana, sometimes you go to the mall and there's even a space for them, and some guy has parked there who is not even disabled. So I ask myself, if the disabled person comes to looking for a parking space, does he have to go around hustling like we all do? It looks as if even some of the banks don't even have it. Nana, I'm so happy about your show today, but I think we should try and do something about that one too.
Thank you very much, Aseye. I think so too, Nana. Good evening, but I personally have given up on this nation. Nothing works in this country. I'm Folder in Adenta. Isaac is in Sunyani. Hello, Isaac. Hello, Isaac.
Hello.
Yes, let me hear you, Isaac. Is that Isaac?
Yes, this is Isaac, Nana.
Good, Isaac. Let me hear your thoughts on this subject.
Okay, Nana, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yes, I first want to thank you, and I think I will have to introduce myself for you to know me. In 2015, me and my friend, you were the first to host us on PM Express when we were fighting for jobs. And,
that's great. That's you.
Yes.
You wanted to be to teach or something?
Yes.
Good. Oh, I'm glad you called. I'm glad you called. Okay, let me hear you.
Yes, and so thank you very much for the program. And I just want to touch on employment. You know, Nana, from that time, we had to take it at the flash house before some of us were employed. It was a terrible experience we had to endure before getting jobs. So, meanwhile, we have all the fine laws. So you look at the Disability Act and the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The government is enjoined to actually help persons with disabilities get jobs. But sometimes it happens that as if we have to beg or plead or before we get jobs. So it's quite a terrible situation. Then on education, you know, we have the inclusive education policy and all the other acts. But you take schools like the demonstration school for the deaf, where the inclusion or inclusive education is being practiced over there. You can find the blind students over there living in terrible conditions. The environment is very terrible. Even dormitory is a problem where they are staying. It's quite problematic. And yet we say we are practicing inclusive education. You know, I think in this country, we always pride ourselves in the quantity of or the number of things we're able to do, but without taking note of the quality. If we're practicing inclusive education, I think we should give much attention to the quality and not the quantity of it. Then, you see, the perception about persons with disability, that is what is killing us. Recently, I watched two local movies, the popular known as the Kumawood movies. And in the third movies, there was this blind person and the sort of picture that was being painted about this blind person to the extent that this blind person was cooking, and instead of putting salt in the food, she rather put sugar in the food. And those of us who are visually impaired, we have been cooking. For instance, I stay alone here, and there is no way a visually impaired will cook and put the sugar in the food. But if the ordinary person who doesn't know any visually impaired watches this, then he takes it to be the true situation. So when you are working and they see you, they think that you are also in the same soup. So, Nana, I'm very happy you are giving us this whole time, this whole 1.5 hours addressing this situation. Thank you very much, Nana.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for calling. Salasi is in Awushi. Hello, Salasi.
Hello.
Hello, Salasi.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Salasi.
Today is a great day. As someone will say, today is a great day, and a great day is indeed today.
Okay.
I'm so happy you have accepted to do a program like this, and it's just very interesting. Persons with disability. I think I heard the previous caller talking about our film actors and all that. I don't know what he was talking about because my
That's
radio
a wrong portrayal of disabled people in movies.
Exactly, and that is what I'm coming to. You know, I don't know, but is it? I don't know whether they don't contact the persons living with disability, or they just create an imaginary thing, and then maybe, for instance, a man who is maybe visually impaired, who has gone to marry, and then maybe they are living in a 2-bedroom house, so the wife probably will bring somebody into the house, and then the man will not even know about it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical. Maybe if I should use that word, it's nonsensical. Because if somebody enters your room, enters your house, you know that there's somebody in there. You see, so I think our actors and actresses and our film producers must also, in acting, rather educate people that, look, if you are visually impaired, you are disabled, you can get married, and then the marriage will be successful. I'm married for 2 years with a child. My wife is faithful to me. I'm faithful to her. Everything is moving on smoothly. Yes, we are human beings. We might have one or two, as every human being has, So we shouldn't make it look doom and gloomy. And also, persons who have hearing impairment. Could you believe we have big churches, mosques, and all those religious organizations? Ask me whether do we have sign interpreters in those churches. We don't. Or sign interpreters in those mosques. But they also need to hear the word of God. They also, when we have programs, maybe political rallies, we forget about them totally. But they also need to hear what is going on. So at least we should have sign interpreters. And then also to the religious organizations, what they do is maybe when they meet, for instance, I'm a visually impaired person and I come and let's say I'm coming to, Nana tells me, oh, Charlie, come and visit me, your church. And I say, okay, no problem, let me come and visit. Immediately the pastor sees me, he wants to, perform a miracle, and then let his eyes open. But we don't do that because God himself knows why he created. God himself knows why he created the person disabled or visually impaired. So you don't come and then bring the person in front of the church and say, oh, let his eyes open and all that. No, you rather encourage the person and then make sure that he comes to the church, learns the word of God, and then things happen. And use that person even as an encouragement to other church members.
So that's it. Thank you very much. I wish I could take more of your submissions, but the line today is just going mad. But, with regards to persons with, sight problems, right? Many, many years ago when I was young, Stevie Wonder came to town and he was touring. And they were about, in a minibus. And they were like, 8, 10, girls who were part of the touring team. And when he got on the bus, anytime somebody got on the bus, she knew that was Ariel. No, that's Yvonne. And so they asked him, how do you know? And he says everybody had a different weight. And anytime they came on the bus, he could tell from the vibration on the bus which girl came on the bus. I mean, that's how sharp he was. He could just tell from the weight. If they step on the bus, you could tell, no, that's Gladys. Oh, no, that's Ariel. Oh, no, that's Lucy. Just by the vibration of the bus, he knew who had entered the bus. So please, don't underestimate. But David is in Accra. Hello, David.
Hello.
Yes, David.
Yeah, Nana.
Yes, David, talk to me.
Good evening. This is David Kofiga. I and my colleague Isaac came to your studios some few years ago.
I'm glad you are all, calling. Otherwise, they would have said I was just blabbing on for nothing.
Yes. Nana, long live Nana.
Thank you.
Long live you. You should live, you and your team should live long. Because if all journalists and all programs would have dedicated this day, even 30 minutes of their airtime for disability issues, I think we would have gone far. So I thank you for this effort.
Thank you.
I'll make it brief because I know some of my colleagues might be on the line.
Thank you.
And I think there's a lot of lawlessness in this country that is leading to this. My colleagues have talked about some. I won't repeat what they talked about. Can you imagine? Check the road from Kaneshi. The buses have taken over one full lane. The footbridge has been taken over by traders. The AMA go there to collect taxes from the people on the street. That the pavement is supposed to be made for us to pass. So they are trading there. And the vehicle parked there, nobody seems to do anything about this. It's impedes people who cannot move freely. AMA should stand on the water. We are going to seal them to make sure that that part of the road is clear and the pedestrian walkways are made possible for PWDs to pass. Look, they will construct gutters and construct roads. This modern day and age, a government will still construct roads and leave the gutter open. Can you imagine? Are we in the Stone Age era? They will construct a gutter, a road, and leave the gutter open. People will fall in. People cannot cross. And we are saying we are a developing country. Where are we going? I will not talk much, but I want to use this. That is a good step. That other radio stations and other well-meaning Ghanaians will help us advocate for the right of PWD. Today you are strong and you are working doing your job. You will grow old. When you grow old, disability will set in. You may have an accident. Anything at all can happen to you. So let's treat persons with disability with the dignity, the respect that you, as an able person, you wish that they treat you with. If we do that together, we will eliminate this kind of street beggars, having sympathy on PWDs all over. We don't need sympathy. We only need an affirmative action law. Over 10 years ago, the Disability Act was passed. Why are government not passing the LI? Nana, I want you to ask for me or ask tomorrow. What is this so making it so difficult for them over 10 years ago? the airline, just an airline, to get this law work, they won't pass it.
Thank you very much.
Here, making joke of having laws and respecting the rights of person with disability. Anyway, I wish you long life so that you stay long and help us advocate our give us a voice for those who don't hear of us. Yes. Thank you for having me and for other colleagues to also join.
Thank you too for calling in. I appreciate it. But Dachi Hine is in Legon, University of Ghana. Hello, Dachi Hine.
Yeah, hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening. Sorry for keeping you holding.
Why not? First of all, just as everybody's saying, we're grateful. I mean, this program is very much important to help in the raising of awareness of persons with disability. But very quickly, someone spoke on the issue of people with hearing impairment. It's very much important. You know that even in some of the public hospitals, there are no sign interpreters, and there are cases where persons with hearing impairment are wrongly diagnosed. These are issues that we need to look at. These are issues that need to be put on the development agenda or the discussion table so we properly dissect these issues. Now, issue of employment, I think that, employers sometimes, I don't know if ignorance is a right term to use, of the capabilities of persons with disabilities. But it is important for them to ask them so that they probably understand what the person with disability can do and cannot do before you draw a hasty conclusion. So, for instance, tomorrow, the Ghana Federation of Persons with Disability are organizing an employment fair, career fair, where they want to educate employers on the abilities of persons with disability. Well, if any employer is listening, probably you can take a shot from that and see how we do it. And to all and sundry, everybody must understand that it is the environment that makes the person feel that he is actually disabled. If we substitute sympathy with empathy, no one will feel that he is a person with disability. Then I thank you very much, and good evening to Ghana.
Good evening too, and that was a beautiful call. Well, I wish to live in a Ghana where, just like my last caller said, you're only disabled if you don't have empathy. But if the pavements are clear, if there's somebody there doing sign language at the church, then why are you disabled? Because you can also hear, see, walk, and understand. But once again, I want to say thank you to my wife. Well, last Saturday, you should have been at the Republic, the Awodansua reading project. Girl in Need, The Standpoint, Ahaban Green Leaf, a couple of NGOs, the Ministry of Gender represented, Madame Liz Hayfron, Mrs. Abiola Bewa, all stormed the Republic. And they taught the kids skills of how to draw, how to make beads, how to make tie, and that the atmosphere was charged. Indeed, it was. For those of you can look out for me on Facebook and see some of the pictures, or you can go to my wife's Facebook wall and look at some of the pictures. It was very touching. As a chief, I was very touched. Because I know the children will grow and never ever forget that moment. I want to say thank you to cousins who gave imperial leather and creams, and so all the kids got imperial leather and creams. I mean, at that age, I didn't even have imperial leather. It was Key Soap and Guardian. They had books they were taught to read. It was fantastic. But guess what? The chief of Bonre sent emissary to Adumasa to come and invite Ohinire. And their message was simple, that she has promoted Kente and the cultures very well. And indeed, the Kente called Gifty Auntie has been the best seller since the last 3 years. The Kente called Gifty Auntie has been the best seller. And so on the 8th of December, which is their Grand Deba, she's been invited and been, given an award or, honored for her contribution to the Bonre Kente industry. And so as a proud husband, I'm going to go with my wife in my full glory. And as she's getting the honor, I'll be zapping mine right from there. Then I'll be taking mine. You'll be saying, and I'll raise my hands. Hello, that's me. So, Hini Ayiko, for all the honor you're bringing me and to Adumasa, to Akwamu at large, and even to Bonre themselves, to the whole of Ghana and the Kente fraternity, we say Ayiko. I was the Ministry of Culture that sent the emissary to Adumasa to come and help. And they taught us Bobo and all the other dances, which was very well. Let's announce that my nephew Bafo is here from Crystal Galaxy College to study his uncle's footsteps, gradually creeping into the media. Well, folks, until I come to you next Monday with another opinion, have a wonderful, wonderful week. But I must say I was touched with all the contributions. It hit my heart, it touched my soul, and we'll do our best. We'll do our best. My wife sends me a message. She says, I love you, tell them. So my wife says she loves me. I love you right back, honey. News bulletin is up next, and then Sammy Forsen will overdrive you as you are thinking as how we bring empathy and bring equity and equality to this country of ours.